course, the state of emergency has been lifted. Mark Mitchell, the Civil Defence Minister, he's been there for the weekend, and of course, there has been, of course, the Prime Minister head down there today. Didn't go to the cabinet meeting, which is usually what the PM does on a Monday morning, but he heads straight to Dunedin. What sort of welcome did he get, and was it useful? Was he useful? Jules Radich is the Dunedin Mayor, and is with us now. G'day, Jules. How are you?
Really good, thank you.
How was the day? You see the yep, got you loud and clear. Do you see the PM, and how did things go?
Yes, I was with the PM, for the whole morning, and we had a look around the city and looked at the various pump stations that performed so well for Dunedin over the weekend.
Right, and do you require more help from them, or?
Well, yes, and unfortunately, the sites where there are significant slips were too dangerous to go and visit. So there's a couple that you really can't see much except from a distance, because to get in underneath, and get close to the slip get up close with it, you have to go through a range of people's property, and then you'd be having the house sitting on top of you, so that's a bit dangerous. And then the very large slip on the State Highway 88 on the road to Port Chalmers, it's a bit too dangerous to go up to the house. And so the house has been red stickered, and some of the houses in the vicinity have, and the slip has still been moving, so it's a bit of an issue.
Do the size of these slips surprise you? Is it surprising how much water obviously has been locked in behind these sort of the earth, and because of the size of these things, does it surprise you?
That one did, yes. The big one was quite a surprise. It's a very large slip, so it's not the kind of thing we normally get. We had a lot of what we could call normal slips on the peninsula, so which are relatively small slips where some of the ground comes down and blocks the road temporarily, and they can be reasonably easily cleaned up. But no, that's a biggie, and it took out the main water feed to Port Chalmers.
How many houses do you think have been would need to be red stickered and be lost here? How many houses do you think need to they're unsalvageable effectively?
I think it was 11 at last count. I haven't had an updated count as at the end of the day today, because there will have been building inspection crews out looking at buildings that are under threat or under question. So I haven't had an update tonight, I'm sorry. But there's 11, and certainly some of them will not be recoverable by the look of it. They're very close to dangerous slips, and one has been completely undermined that I've actually been in.
You can't live in there. Yeah, you can't live in there. You've crossed this bridge before, haven't you? A couple in Dunedin South, I think, as well. You've been across this bridge before. How do they get bought out then? How does that work?
Well, I don't know. We haven't got a plan. We haven't got a system in place for dealing with that. But in the first instance, one naturally would be going to one's insurance.
Yeah, well, that's the first port of call, isn't it? But then there's what about EQC? Does it cover anything to do with flooding or anything? I'm not sure. But is there a role for government?
EQC,
yeah. Is there a role for government and local body?
There may well be a role for government. Yes, I think we need to get we'll get a handle on the numbers, and so that we know where we're at, and so and then discuss that further with the government. The government has got some plans in place, and they've certainly used those in Hawke's Bay and Tairāwhiti, but whether it's suitable here remains to be seen, because we do not have a good idea of the numbers yet. I mean, it's only 2 days. I mean, this is the first working day since.
Yes, of course. And how many people in emergency shelters or living at family and friends? How many people are out of their houses? Do you know?
None. So there's no people in the emergency shelter. We set 2 different shelters up, and they were both occupied the first night, and the second night there was only about a dozen people in there, and there were none last night. So
what sort of scale is the
organised?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've organised
accommodation
for themselves with friends, family.
Yes. Yeah, that shows how tight the community is, and that's good news. So, how would you judge these floods? What sort of scale are they on? Compared to others, you've had floods in 2015, 16, I think. So, how do you judge these ones, Jules?
Well, there was apparently more water than either 2015 or 1968. But both of those floods created far more damage and covered a bigger area and flooded more houses. So what that means is that our pumping and pipe systems and network did work better than previously, and we have done quite a lot of work tuning it up. So it did work at maximum capacity for the whole time of the flood. So that's good. But however, we need more.
Did you find the Prime Minister's visit useful? Was he useful being there?
He didn't splash any money around, no, but he was just coming for a look, and so I didn't expect him to be splashing money around, to be fair. But I think as we get some more data and figures, we can, discuss that matter further.
Did he say anything like, we're open to spending some money here? Did let us know what you need? Was there any sort of the hand go out or not?
No, neither did we neither asked, and he didn't offer either. But we have got some pretty big expenditure needs. We're working on a climate resilience program, so fortifying South Dunedin with more pipes and pumps will be part of a longer term plan. And so in the way of climate resilience, so we need to get that worked up so that we can then go back to discuss that. And as far as this, we need to get some numbers on this event to see, where the gaps lie before we start making requests of government for that. And of course, we've got a hospital in the background.
Yeah, I always find it amazing that, we'll get to that in a minute, but I always find it amazing that whenever there's something happens overseas, one of the Pacific Island nations or wherever it might be around the world, we're first to put our hands up and throw some money into some First Aid, Red Cross, whatever it is, fund, and New Zealand donates $1 million here, there, everywhere. And sometimes I wonder if that's all good, that's all fine, it's sort of agreed practice and everything, but sometimes I find that the money is quick to go out the door overseas, but very slow to hit local communities that are affected. And I wonder, with people that are affected, it's their life, right? It's their livelihoods and their life, and it means everything to them. And for those it doesn't impact, they may look the other way. But for those people, it is everything. And I wonder if the government's sometimes too slow to help out locally,
Well, I don't know. I suppose that's an endless debate, really. And, we haven't... we didn't get to show them some of the sad cases that we've got here, mind you. It's the first day after, so we're still, collating that data and information and helping people clean out their houses and clean up the sandbags in the first instance. So one of the things is that the day after the event, the pipe and the pipes and pumps worked well. And, the streets were clear again. So you had dry streets, blue sky and sunshine. So, yesterday, it felt, really quite pleasant on the streets of Dunedin. It didn't feel like a disaster zone.
Maybe your systems are pretty good. Yeah, maybe the system is good. But those houses that are flooded for the second time in 10 years, do you have to write them off, do you think?
Well, there will be some, maybe. We have no information on that at this stage. I went to a couple that looked as though they were recoverable. So, but they did get wet inside. But there's a range of factors in that, in their situation. So, I did discuss that with those people.